Hello, everyone. So I'm very concerned about this White Housing Bill 2020. That's I think it's going to the third stage of the House of the Oireachtas. Um, um, I'm assuming it's a past second stage. I do remember in the past second stage, but yeah, I seen this. And this has been doing the rounds, and it is true. I had looked into it. Um, it's um it's part two of section 31.2. Put 31.1, sorry. And put 3.2, sorry, not 31, but I don't know, sorry, my apologies. But yeah, to put it straight and to put it forward, it sounds very communism, and it sounds like the state can judge if you have the right to private property. If you've worked all your life, they can just decide. We don't want you to have private property. We're just going to take it. It's all the state controls everything. Um, because again, the words here in this statement particularly, the state accordingly shall declare whatever the right to private property determine as far as I say, or the limit or whatever you would call it. It's again the same kind of phrase you would use. And obviously more or less saying, we can decide if you have the rights or not. We can take it away from you, even though if you work hard, you have every right to own your property. Simple as that. You have every right, and if you pay your property tax, there's nothing really that anybody can say about it. If you're a law-abiding citizen, they can't just take away your property and say, this belongs to the state now. We can kick you out of the house if we want to. You know, that's not right. Let's be fair. Maybe in Soviet Union times it was all right, but we all know communism always fails. But yeah, this is basically what it is. Like, let's be fair. Um, and basically, it's like these two things here alone. And again, it is phrased very. There's not much. It should be a long paragraph and explaining what it means. But again, very vague. Obviously when things are very vague, they can use whatever. They can do whatever. If something specifically said, like again, as we know with the lockdowns, was definitely unconstitutional. I don't know how to wiggle the way out of that. Because particularly in the Irish Constitution, as you know, it says in times of war or rebellion. It doesn't say pandemics. It doesn't say anything else. Anything apart from that, rebellions or times of war. That's what it says under the Emergency Powers Act. For the state to have extra powers. In times of rebellions, say if a rebellion happens in the country or a war is happening, which why was in play. The Emergency Powers Act was used in World War Two. But yeah, no, it didn't mention anything else about anything else, and obviously they would have to they probably shouldn't have done it. They probably had a vote on it, to integrate it into the constitution. But that's what it says. But yeah, the constitution doesn't matter nowadays. It's just there when they need it and when they don't want it to just throw it out. But again, as I say, it's all to do with the World Economic Forum too, as we know in 2030, no, barely a few years from now. You own nothing and you'll be happy. Whatever Klaus Schwab says, you'll be own nothing and be happy. That's one of the aims of the World Economic Forum at the moment. As we know, Leo is one of the young leaders of the World Economic Forum. And obviously we shouldn't have anything to do with them. I don't know what you would call them. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of them. Let's be honest. I don't think they're much use. Because again, who's voting them? I want to know. If I voted for Klaus Schwab, I would know. I wouldn't vote for my dreams. But yeah, let's be fair. Again, they're unaccountable to anybody. Who are they accountable to? At least with these fuckers that we have in the door. And I use the word fuckers because they are fuckers. We can hold them to account to a certain extent. You and I can hold them account. Media won't. But you and I can. We can ring them up and say, "How dare you do this? I didn't vote you in for this." And this is why it's important to elect people in public health and in other sections too. You vote. The public say who's worthy of being in office. Because again, the World Economic Forum, I don't know who elected them. Let's be totally honest. Who elected them? It'd be different if we elected them in the morning. We know who they are at least. And we have ourselves to blame to do something. But yeah, their agendas are very vulnerable. But again, this is probably something to do with that. Again, I mean, conspiracy theory 2.0. But again, you own nothing to be happy. You can look up the World Economic Forum. It is there in black and white. That you own nothing and you'll be happy. So, again, private property, again, we've seen this many times, been talked about. It's been talked about many times in the job, but people before profit, for example. And again, people are entitled to their opinion, obviously. They're entitled to, but let's be fair, if somebody works all their life to buy a property, or into their or to own even a bit of land, they're entitled to own it. They're entitled, if they worked all their life to to buy that land or to pay for that house and that land around the house, they're entitled to own it. There's nothing that can stop them from owning it. Again, as I say, unless they're drug dealers or something like that, then obviously that's wrong completely. But if they worked all their life, they're entitled to own private property. It's your right. It's basically your right. If you have the money for it, you have every right to own a property. Again, it's as simple as that. And the state has no right to determine who's desirable. In other words, this is the word that I'm using, desirable. And this is the next word that's used mainly in communist constitution. It's been used in the 1930 Éamon de Valera, used in the 1937 version of the constitution for the greater good. The greater good of the state was used many times in the constitution in 1937. I think even the common good, the greater good, the common good, same meaning. It's just kind of a phrase. But yeah, it says for the common good. Where does it say that now? For the common good. I don't know, but again, that's very vague too. In 1937 constitution, and it says it here too in 3.2, part 2. It says for the common good. But again, it is very vague. It's the 39th Amendment of the Constitution, right to Housing Bill 2020. Yeah. But yeah, it is. And again, a lot of people, American people, never doing picked up on this, and they said the same thing as me. It does seem very communism, to be totally honest, and I'm not going to sit here and say it isn't. But what I'm looking at, maybe they might change it. Hopefully they will change it, because we don't want to be going into a communist state. But again, we're not too far off it. So, but yeah, let me know what you think. Let's just go more. Bye.